everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres. The other day we did what we call our Chinese or Asian soup, and we've had several questions on it, and we had lost some of the video last time, so I'm going to try and do a few more things a little bit more close up than we did last time. Basically, every once in a while when we're cleaning out the freezer or something, we'll find some bits and pieces that need to be cleaned out of the fridge. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them, it just means that the freezer's too clogged up. So we've been eating down our little freezer over the top of the fridge, and one of the things that was in there was a couple of turkey legs. So yesterday, Henry made a batch of turkey broth, which we refrigerated overnight. And today we're going to make a very small batch of soup, just enough for dinner for the two of us. What I have here is I just have the turkey broth that's already been cooked, that had some carrots and some celery and not much else in it, and just the two turkey legs in there. And it was started out with a big full thing of water and was boiled down over the course of the day. So it's pretty straight turkey broth. Now, we do not salt our broth when we're making it, no matter what kind of broth it is, because we never know how we're going to use it at the end. And one of the worst things I can think of is over-salted fill in the blank. We do not eat a high salt diet normally. We will occasionally splurge on chips and things like that, but we became accustomed to a healthier, lower salt diet years ago, not for medical reasons, just for it being a good idea. I am going to be adding some ingredients that are going to be naturally salty, and that is the soy sauce and the cooking wine. Cooking sherry is actually saltier than regular sherry is. If at the end, when we're finally ready with everything and we've put in everything we're going to put in, we decide it needs to be salt, it's easy enough to salt then. We have a container of frozen turkey that just came out of the freezer. Henry prepped some veggies for me while I was doing something else. So I have a bunch of carrots. They're about a centimeter or a half an inch thick, depending on what measuring system you like. I'm just going to toss those in. And I am going to add some pak choi from our greenhouse. Now, this is not the best quality stuff ever. I mean, it's organic and all that kind of stuff, but it had some problems with heart rot and stuff like that. But there's nothing wrong with it in terms of flavor. Any of the leaves that have any discoloration or anything else like that on it, I'm just, removing. And I'll shred them up into smaller pieces. So all I'm going to do is chop this up into small pieces and throw it in the soup. And if I have any doubts about any pieces, whether anything's got an off flavor, I will simply taste it. Well, tastes perfectly good. A couple of people have wondered what we do with our pak choi, and this is just one of many things we do with it. We really like it in stir fry, and we eat stir fry quite a bit, particularly in the summer months here, because stir fry is fast and it does not generate a lot of heat. Some of this nice inner section here is really good looking, which is great. I don't need a huge amount for this dish tonight. A lot of this is actually salvageable, but I just hit this one section here that is perfect. So I see no reason to not use it, all of it. Now this section here is just completely perfect. It's lovely. So I am going to cut this up. First I'll chop this. I'm just going to rough chop this. I try not to have any pieces that are more than 1.5 inches or 2 inches long in terms of the greens. I don't like big glumpy pieces of greens, as I stated before. This I'm going to cut up in a couple of chunks because, again, I don't want gigantic pieces. So when the pieces fall over, some of the pieces I can see are pretty solid, it's like having too big a piece of celery and things. But this is going to be plenty here. I was glad to see that center section was so nice. All right, let's see. And like any greens, as this cooks, the greens are going to get mushier. I'm going to taste this just to see where I'm starting. It's just got what I'd call pure turkey flavor. It doesn't taste like anything else. We normally make this soup with either turkey or chicken broth, homemade usually. I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of cooking sherry. And about 1/4 cup of soy sauce. This is regular soy. I actually prefer to use low salt, low sodium soy, but there was none available when I was buying soy sauce last time, so I bought what I could get. We usually get one size down from this, so this is a gallon. I usually get the half gallons or the quarts. I don't like to get tiny containers because, especially if we're doing a lot of Asian cooking, we use it up too fast, and they tend to make the smaller containers quite expensive. Nice. That's a really good start. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cook my veggies, add in my turkey. This can kind of all happen at once. Sometimes I'll take longer and I'll do it more in stages, and other times I really just kind of dump it all in there. I do want the turkey to be melted before I put in the udon. I'm just going to use Japanese udon noodles. The flavor's a really good place. It's developing some nice flavors, but it's not over salted. Yep, I think it's a go. It's only been about maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And the block of turkey is now defrosted, so we now have individual pieces of turkey in here, which we can either leave whole or cut up into slightly smaller pieces, because these were actually slices of turkey like that one. I usually break them up a little bit, but this is basically ready to go. Now I want to taste this and see how we're doing. I think the amount of sherry is good. I think that as the turkey has melted in, it's kind of removed some of the soy sauce flavor. I want just a little bit more soy. So I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons. See, the soy also gives some darkness to the soup. If you're allergic to soy, there are other substitute sauces that you can use. I haven't tried that, so you'd have to decide the flavor for yourself, but it's your soup, so you can decide whatever you want it to be like. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that right now, and I'm going to go ahead and get the udon in there. Always make sure if you have the kind of udon or ramen that comes with a plastic strap on it, take the strap off. And in Asian cooking in general, you never break the noodles because long noodles are the sign of longevity. I sometimes cheat and break the noodles, depending on the size of the pot I'm using. In this case, I can actually stick them all in here. They fit. But if I was using a smaller pot, I might have to break the rules. And I'm just going to stir them around a little bit until they start to get a little bendy. Now this takes about 12, 14 minutes. We like ours a little al dente. I don't want my noodles to be totally mushy. So I'll give this 10 minutes. I'll stir it a couple times and we'll check it again. And then we'll just do final seasoning and we'll have dinner, which is awesome because I'm hungry. If you remember, this was just homemade turkey broth, which was made using bits and pieces of celery and carrots, kind of the not pretty but not rotten pieces, and we keep them in a freezer bag in the freezer as we create other dishes. That turkey broth was strained, put in here. We did not skim the fat. If you look, you can see there is a little bit of fat on here, but it is not a huge amount. Some of that may have also come from the gravy. No biggie. We added some carrots that are about a centimeter or a half an inch thick. It's just sliced into pennies. We added chopped up pak choy. I trimmed off any soft spots that I didn't like the look of. I tasted everything to make sure it was great because this was older pak choy. Perfectly fine. All in there. I tend to make my pieces of pak choy leaf no more than an inch square. I just happen to like smaller pieces in my soup. I don't like having to argue with things on a spoon. And then I have now added some sherry. I added about a quarter cup of sherry and a quarter cup of soy sauce. This is the full salt soy sauce because it was what I could get at the grocery store at the time. I then let it cook with the block of turkey that had come out of the freezer. That it was turkey with a little bit of turkey gravy. The turkey gravy was also homemade. As soon as that was thawed out, I added the udon, and now we're just waiting for udon. Now the udon is now pliable enough that I could stir it around, but it is not cooked yet. It is still too. If I were to grab an udon out of there, you'd see it's pretty stiff still. And it's nowhere near done. It's really quite quick if you're not waiting for a lot of things. Like the broth was already made. Henry had already prepped the veggies. Toss it all together. Less than half an hour later, you have dinner. Soup has been cooking for about 10 minutes or so. As you can see, there's lots of noodles in there. There are now all that good gooey noodliness, which I can tell just by looking at is going to be the right texture. We have dinner. And as always, when you're serving your soup, you decide how you want it done. It's one of the delightful things about making your own food. You can have more meat, less meat, no meat, more veggies, less veggies, more noodles, less noodles. Done in between other projects, because I can hear it from where I'm sitting working on my computer right now. So I know when it's starting to bubble and things like that, and I know exactly what it should sound like. So I'm ready for dinner. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we're going to be doing lots more. I've had a couple of requests to make yogurt cheese. And I do have some yogurt that's getting a little older now, so I could easily make cheese with it. Super simple. Doesn't come any simpler than that. And lots of other things going on. Until next time, bye.